I'm not happy. I'm frazzled, on edge, my back's up. This isn't a manor anymore. This is a crime scene. Something extremely valuable has been taken for this space. I'm talking kidnap. I'm on the phone with Scotland Yard and they're taking this matter very seriously.
We're sorry. All of our representatives are still assisting other customers. Please remain on the line as we value your call.
A cherished old friend of mine has gone missing for the property. Right now, as we speak, old man Mackenzie's out there in the deadly bog searching for him. Mackenzie was worried about the quicksand, but I told him it's fine. He stopped sinking after 5 or 6 feet. My friend's name is Haribo Whiskers. Mr. Whiskers, actually, as he prefers to keep things formal. The entire place has been dusted for fingerprints and nothing. Whiskers just straight up disappeared. This thief is good. Clearly a professional. But who would want to do that? Obviously there's many suspects. For somebody as lovely and as patient as me, my list of enemies is surprisingly long. Firstly, the idiots in town hate my guts. They've never forgiven me for burning down the rec centre. I mean, it was New Year's Eve. How was I supposed to know those fireworks were outdoor only? Just so petty. Of course, another suspect is yourself. You've been studying my every move, watching, waiting, slowly gaining my trust while plotting against me. Sitting there all quiet, like butter wouldn't melt. Hello? Aye, what?
Hello, this is Inspector Crank of Scotland Yard.
Crank? Is this a wind-up? Because I've got a very serious matter to report. I'm talking kidnap.
Are you the idiot who's been calling about a missing teddy bear?
It is not a teddy bear. It is a vintage, straw-stuffed family heirloom, and I'd appreciate if you...
Are you the idiot that burned down the rec centre?
Hey, the cops couldn't make them charges stick. Who are you anyway, Crank? It's you, isn't it? You took Whiskers. Who do you work for? How deep does this go? Tell me! Nobody's taking this seriously. Here's a artist's impression of Mr. Whiskers. There's a reward for information leading to his recovery. No money, obviously. You mad? Nah, the reward will be Mackenzie will be in your service for a whole day. I don't mind. And he won't either. When I tell him. It's just been stressful. Me and Mr. Whiskers go way back. We've got history, you know. Speaking of history, that reminds me of a story. You fancy it? Here goes. Have you ever seen the man with the red rope? Think back. The blood-red rope would be worn around the waist. The person wearing it will have a stoic and intimidating presence, usually spotted loitering in the background. Actually, no need to cast your mind back, for if you ever saw that person with that red rope, then you'd never forget the day. The individual wearing that rope represents the Order of the Timekeepers. Important. Their role was to oversee and protect history at all costs. See, in the 23rd century, time travel is the most popular form of tourism. Forget Disneyland, guys. History is where the money is. Fancy witnessing the mysterious creation of the Great Pyramid? Or watching old Caesar cross the Rubicon? Not for you. How about a more personal package? Moments for your own childhood? More time with lost loved ones? Priceless? Not anymore. It's available, and there are many packages to choose from. Some tours are limited to craft only. Observation from a great distance. After all, you wouldn't want your kid too close to a dinosaur, would you? Some tours are prohibited due to their incredible significance, like the dawn of man or the birth of Christ. Only so many people can fit in a manger, guys. Not to worry though, those events have been filmed for posterity. Watch and like on your phone. History was no longer written by the victor, but revealed by the order of the timekeepers for the whole world to view in crystal clear, objective truth. Governments fell when lies were exposed. Truth hurts, but it does heal. There is only one timeline, just the one, and it is considered sacred. On a tour, the tourists know what they are signing up for. The rules are clear. Any attempt to alter that line and your life will be forfeit, destroyed for the good of time. Zero tolerance. For real. Yet despite the stringent background checks, extortionate costs and severe penalties involved, there has been trouble. And there will be trouble. That's why the individual timekeepers are so vital. They are a dedicated and unwavering police force with monk-like obedience to the order. They are devoted, and they have to be. Strict rules apply to them as well. Any deviation from the line, any lapse in faith, and their life will also be forfeit. Preserve the past, protect the future. It's a tough job, and not everyone is cut out for it. 40-year-old William Curtin was tonight's timekeeper, a dedicated vet with a steely focus on the job. He's the cold-hearted bastard you send on the more emotionally draining tours. You know the type. Curtin had only one mission: rinse and repeat, time and time again. That mission was centred on a ship bound for New York called the Titanic. The story of RMS Titanic found some mystique back in the 20th century, but had grown out of favour in more recent times. A footnote, really. Curtin's task was straightforward: ensure the ship remains on its crash course with an iceberg, dropping 1,500 souls into the freezing North Atlantic. Oh, and keep your eye out for trouble. Remember, zero tolerance. The 10 tourists kept together on board. They'd be dressed in appropriate Victorian garb, and when the ship was doomed, they and the acting timekeeper would be returned safely home. Curtin was seated on a lone white bench on the chilly boat deck, a great vantage point over his nearby flock. They paid a lot of money, so he gave them the illusion of space. But make no mistake, they were really on his rails. The night air was thick with fog. Curtin was dressed in a wool overcoat, red rope wrapped snugly underneath. Lifeboats lined one whole side of the deck. They'd soon be lowering into the sea, women and children first. You've seen the movie. With destiny fast approaching, Curtin left the bench and drew closer to his tour. Someone always gets upset when they spot the sharp silhouette of the killer iceberg. This wasn't the place or the time for breakdowns. Precisely 10 minutes from now, lookout Frederick Fleet and colleague Reginald Lee would sight the dark masts from the crow's nest. They would ring the warning bell 3 times, phone the bridge and report, "Iceberg, right ahead." This was the most tense moments for our timekeeper. One warning cry from his party changes the course of this ship and its place in the historical record. That cannot be allowed to happen. Curtin was directly behind the tour now, a shadow in the dark. Suddenly, one young man glanced up at the crow's nest, raised his hands to the sides of his mouth and yelled. Curtin already had the man's mouth clutched shut. In an instant, he was dragged away from the action. The tour was over. Curtin ordered the remaining 9 home, and they obeyed without question. They disappeared at the press of a button found on a watch, cufflink or brooch, teleporting them back to the future. Although those 9 tourists did nothing wrong, they would each be detained until their innocence in this incident had been established. And even if proven innocent, they'd never be allowed to travel the past again. 0 tolerance. Curtin yanked that misguided fool to the privacy of the stern. It was just them, the fog, and the sounds of the churning sea. The timekeeper never released the ironclad grip he had on that young terrorist's throat. The man, barely 20 years old, argued for Curtin to let him finish the job. "The order is corrupt," he strained through clenched teeth. "History is not sacred to them. It's just the golden goose." Curtin was unmoved. The guy had heard it all before. "Time travel is never going back in the bottle," Curtin growled back. "Someone has to police it, and someone has to pay for it. It's exploitation," the young man spat, nose to nose with our timekeeper. "Your order will raid every dirty closet in human history in the hopes of some blood money. Have you seen the latest tours on offer? Lots of deals out there. Experience the Black Death this Black Friday. Walk the streets of London dressed as a plague doctor, stepping over the rotted suffering. Or take a trip inside the towers and watch the planes hit. The crash and burn, they call it on the brochure. If that doesn't turn your stomach, wait till you hear about the clearance sale over at the Holocaust. You're not a policeman. You're a grave robber." A bitter wind whipped around the two as they stared into each other. Curtin's eyes pinched slightly in the corners. A wobble. A crack. The young man's eyes lit up in triumph when he noticed that flinching micro-expression, signifying a brief alignment in values. It was brief. Curtin snatched the terrorist by his thin neck and tossed him like a filthy rag overboard. The man's faint screams rang out in the night air before he plunged into the murky waters. The timekeeper then returned to the bow in a sort of daze. "Grave robber," he uttered under his breath. The notion filled him with revulsion, but he would chew over that in his own time. Right now, the most important thing was that the timeline was secure. That's all that mattered. Curtin took his seat on the bench, barely hearing the famous cry coming from the crow's nest above. "Iceberg, right ahead." It was home time. Curtin pressed the return on his watch. Nothing. He pressed it again and... still nothing. A growing concern came over him now, a churning sense of dread. Suddenly, there was an incoming alert on his watch. A message from the order. Curtain. Pressed play. There is zero tolerance for timekeepers who question the order. Your lapse in faith has been noted. Your services are no longer required. Curtin sat back in his chair, bereft and forsaken by his order. This was the first time he would ever see past the tour. No longer an observer of tragedy, but a victim, a grave robber who had made his bed and would lie in it. Preserve the past, protect the future. It's a tough job, and not everyone is cut out for it. Hello? Aye, what?
It's Mackenzie, sir.
Mackenzie, finally. Did you find Mr. Whiskers in the deadly bog?
No, sir. In fact, I barely made it out alive.
Excellent. Mackenzie, you are now the number one suspect in this kidnapping business. Got a few questions for you, Mackenzie. This will only take several hours. Interview with main suspect commencing at 1900 hours.
Did you get my letter, sir?
Letter?
It's very important,
Mackenzie,
sir.
Mackenzie, listen and don't interrupt like you always do. We all know you're shifty. You even had me accusing our beloved audience members. They hate you, too.
Sir, can I be honest?
Finally, a confession. Let's hear it.
Well, sir, I am deeply offended that you would ever think I would steal from you. That letter is my resignation, sir.
Interview with main suspect terminated at 1901 hours. Resignation?
It pains me so much, sir, but I have no other choice. Are you certain you've checked everywhere, sir? Because I would never steal from you, especially not your beloved childhood teddy bear.
Mackenzie, it is not a teddy bear. It is a vintage, straw-stuffed family heirloom, and I've searched everywhere. I've turned this whole place upside... Mackenzie, there's been a misunderstanding.
Really, sir?
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic, sir.
I'd like to call the whole thing off.
Well, I'd rather do the same, sir.
Let's just pretend it never happened.
Of course I can forgive you, sir. You were stressed.
And don't be sending me any more resignation letters. It just makes a stressful situation much worse. Number one, selfish. Number two, rude.
Well, I do apologise, sir, and I'm so terribly sorry.
Well, just don't let it happen again, that's all.
Oh, and one last thing, sir. Since we're...
Whiskers.
That's Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers. It's good to have you back.
It is good to be back, Foxton. Can I say something?
Go on.
I have concerns regarding your emotional immaturity. I want you to do something for me. Call Mackenzie and apologize. You hurt the man's feelings. Your continued mistreatment and selfish behavior is clearly driving him away. Your oppositional defiance causes you to lash out at those who love you and to blame others for your own mistakes.
When?
Foxton, when you were a child, it was Mackenzie who wiped your bottom and dried your tears. He knows what your backside looks like, and most importantly, what's in your heart. Call him back, Foxton, and apologize.
Mr. Whiskers, now I remember. Now I remember why I put you here.